In this video, I wanted to briefly and broadly go over the architecture or the features that are going to go into creating an e-commerce application. I've broken this down into 3 different sections so it's a little easier to think about in our heads and break down as we build it out. The first part of our application is going to be the products themselves. Okay, and this is going to be part of the backend. We're going to have a MongoDB database set up and storing all of the information for our products, or actually our entire backend. Now, you may remember from the course overview video that in the diagram, we actually didn't see a database on the Jamstack side. And that's actually because the database isn't going to be a factor when the user is making a request. So we'll get into it later, but essentially when the user makes a request, all our database queries have already been made. And that is part of the static files that we'll be serving directly to the user. Okay, but we're still going to have to maintain that backend ourselves or create it. And that is going to consist of information such as the product name, product category, description, reviews, images, different sizes, the price, different colors, and the stock, or how many of that item you have available. Now, you may notice that the price is indented, it's underneath sizes, and stock is indented underneath colors. The reason for this is because that is actually how we're going to have to structure this information. Some different products, if they're different sizes, like a small, medium, or a large drink, might cost different prices. And so we need to associate the price not just with the product, but actually with a size of the product. You can see the same goes for colors, because we're going to have a different number of stock or a different number of available items based on whichever color or size the user picks. So the colors is actually also going to refer to the sizes. Each of our sizes will have all our different colors, and each of those colors will have a different stock. We'll get more into the actual structure of this information and how we're going to go about implementing it within our project, but for now, I just want you to have a general idea of the type of information we're going to be needing for each of our products. The second part of our e-commerce application is handling the users. These are our customers who are actually going to be using our site. Okay, and so actually not just our logged in users, but our guest users as well, who have not made an account yet. But for our users that do create an account, we'll need to store all of their information in our database as well. So this will include things like the name, our email, a password, the user's order history, so they can go back and see their previous purchases, favorites, so the user will be able to create a list of all their most frequently purchased items, as well as subscriptions, which will be the ability to have products automatically delivered every 1, 2, or 3 months, which is a very common business model. And then finally, we'll also need to save any other user information, such as their shipping address, their shipping contact information, or different payment methods. All of this is going to be handled very cleanly and very securely for us, so I hope you'll be excited to dive into that. The final piece of our e-commerce application is, of course, the store itself. And this is going to be the front end of our application. Every website, of course, has to start off with a landing page, so that will be our start as well. And then we'll move on to the pages like the product list page. And this is where you're looking at a list of products or a whole category. Then the other type of page that an e-commerce application always has is the product detail page, when you actually from the list click on a product and then are taken to the page of just that product itself. That'll be where we can see things like all the reviews, all the product images, and all the detailed descriptions. Then we'll be moving on to the cart, where we'll be building the cart and checkout system along with handling credit card payments entirely from scratch. The only thing we'll be using is the Stripe API, which will make handling the credit cards secure and put the responsibility of that onto Stripe instead of us. But the cart and checkout process will be completely customized and completely from scratch. So I'm really excited to show you guys how to do that. Then we'll need to build our page for our users where they'll be able to log in, log out, or sign up, as well as handle forgotten passwords and resetting the password from their email, along with user settings. So going in and changing the password, along with changing any of their saved information. Finally, the last page we'll be building is of course the Contact Us page, which is always important to include to allow your users to directly send messages to you or provide your contact or physical store information. So this is a general idea of all the features and functionality that we're going to be baking into this application. If you can't tell already, this is going to be a huge project, a giant scope that is going to cover almost every modern e-commerce feature that you could hope for, all from scratch, all with the best modern practices, and all with the Jamstack. So if you're ready to find out more about what the Jamstack actually is and how it's going to enable us to do so much so easily, then let's get into it a little bit more in the next video.